Hello, wonders, and welcome. It's Pan here, and today I wanted to talk about actually just giving some, not really tips, but people have been asking me about money in China and about if things are expensive or not. So here, as an exchange student, actually as an aupair, I receive pocket money, which is not much, but it is 100 RMB or yuan, you can call them both. And it's not like a huge amount, but of course, if you live with a family, it's much more than it should be, I guess. And well, it depends how you use it mostly. If you come to travel around and you want to spend it on moving around like metro and bus are very cheap. Basically it's 2 RMB or 2 yuan for the bus, and the same with the metro. It depends, of course, how far in the city you move. It can be up to 10 yuan at most, which is like 10 yuan is about 140 euro. 140 euros. I meant €1.40. Yeah, forget about that. I don't know where that came from. Anyway, if you also want to take the taxi, that is okay as well, because it's not like super expensive. A taxi, it depends how far you go, but even if you go like half an hour, can be about 40, 50 yuan, which is like 50 yuan is about 7 euros, so it's not really much. Even if you're in a group, I think that would be great if you have to go somewhere very specific and you don't know how to get there, and that's an idea. When it comes to eating, China is pretty much quite cheap. You can go to places and eat for maybe even 30 yuan, which is like 4 euros and 50. And you know, Chinese people don't really eat like one dish, and they buy more dishes together and they eat it all together and they share it basically, which is, I think, actually it's pretty amazing because you get to eat different things. And that's what I've been doing here. So when I go out eating with the family, pretty much they choose the food and I try everything, and everything pretty much is being amazing, most of it. But I'll talk about food maybe in another video because it does take a while just to talk about that. But really, if you want to eat out in China, it's gonna be pretty cheap, not expensive at all. And so most of Chinese also spend a lot of time eating out at restaurants, at places, things like that. So you can do that with no worries. When it comes to things that more Western people really can't miss around, like coffee, that's another story. Coffee is a little bit more expensive. I mean, at least compared to some countries, I guess. Coffee, it costs at Starbucks as usual. It's coffee at Starbucks. And Costa is like about 35 yuan, which is like almost 5 euros. So it is a bit for coffee. Of course, maybe you won't eat it every day, but if you want to drink it like me once a week, twice a week, I think it's fine. You're not gonna waste all your pocket money on that, I hope. And when it comes to other things like clothing and accessories, makeup stuff, or toiletries, that's a little bit more expensive. I'd say even more expensive than Europe. I found even more common H&M, Sephora, however you wanna say it, be a little bit more expensive here in China than it is in Europe. And I guess because it's imported, I'm not sure, but even brands, if you think of coming to China and buying a Chanel bag, you might want to think about that twice, because here it's probably gonna be more expensive. Most of Chinese people buy a lot of stuff online on this website, which I can't remember the name, but I will link it below in the description box, so if you want to take a look. It's all in Chinese, but it can be pretty useful. Just remember that things, just like even more than on Amazon, can be fake, and it's hard to tell, and it's hard to get refunded. So you might want to think twice if you're buying things like clothes and stuff. But also Chinese people buy groceries online. which is pretty amazing because they like buy it one day and the next day it already arrives at your house. So basically you can buy, if you want, like if you're missing your home food so much, you just can't do without it anymore, you can always just look for it online, and you might even, and you really probably will find it, because I don't know, they get pretty much everything on that website. So that's an idea if you're missing food. And what else? There's not much to do when it comes to museums and this stuff. There's famous the Shanghai Museum. It's a good one if you're going to go around, but it's not. It doesn't have a ticket at all. It's free, so you can just go. And yeah, when it comes to spending money, China can be very cheap, as I said. When it comes to food and moving and traveling, it's quite cheap. Even the train, the fast train, which can get you from Shanghai to Nanjing in 1 hour and a half, high-speed train, it's like 180 RMB, which is about 20 something euros, I think, and it's not much. And also you can buy even cheaper tickets if you want. Of course, you don't want to travel so fast, or if you don't want to travel so far. So yeah, when it comes to these things, I can say it's pretty cheap, and it won't really cost you much if you want to travel around China and see China. And as I said, the food, you can try pretty much. Okay, just be careful, because when it comes to, and I say this from personal experience, I did have a problem with it. I had a bacterial infection 2 weeks after I came here in China. So I can tell you for sure, be careful when you eat outside and even inside the house of your host family. Make sure it's clean, because hygiene, I don't know in your country, in my country is like a very big deal when it comes to food, hygienic food and all that stuff. Here in China is not. It's really not. It's not a matter of what you're eating. You can eat duck brain. I ate duck brain. It's actually good. As weird as it sounds, it's actually good. But when it comes to food, just be careful. Just be careful what you're eating. But you're pretty much okay if you want to eat outside. Just make sure you eat food that it's being cooked and it's not raw. And yeah, they don't advise for ice cream and that stuff, but maybe after a while you're here, I guess you can even try that. I mean, by now I can eat pretty much anything, I guess, even rocks, and I would still be fine. So yeah, these are just a few of advices I can give you when it comes to money. And 1,000 RMB, it's pretty much what you get as an aupair, and I think it's enough if you want to do things around the city. I think it's just fine. So if you have any questions regarding how to use money, what to do in China, and whatever it is about how to get along with kids, I have had some trouble with it, so I might not be very helpful, but I can give maybe a few tips. If it can help you, I'm totally welcoming about it. So please do ask me questions and click the like button below if you enjoyed the video, and remember to subscribe and to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you wonders next week.